Hi friends, today we're starting a whole new chapter, and this chapter is all about how I can subtract three-digit numbers. So we just finished working with adding three-digit numbers, and now we're working to subtract them. So our first lesson is to take apart hundreds to subtract. So like we would take apart tens, we're going to take apart hundreds. So open up to page 413 in your workbook to follow along. So it says at the bottom, at the beginning of the year, Mrs. Jones put 403 new crayons in the crayon bucket. After the first month of school, 97 crayons were lost. How many crayons were left in the bucket? And we want to use base 10 blocks to show this. So to use base 10 blocks, we have to first draw them. So we have 403. So we're going to do 400 flats. And 3 1 cubes. 403, and then it says 97 crayons were lost. Now, remember with subtraction, we're crossing out what we're taking away, so we're not drawing the 97 because we're not adding it in. So in order to take away 97, it's kind of hard right now because I don't have enough ones and I don't have any tens to take from. So I'm going to have to first break this 100 into its 10 sticks, so there should be 10. Because of course we know that 10 tens is 100. Okay, so we've used this 10, but it's still here. So let's take away 97. Well, 97 has 9 tens, so let's first get rid of our 9 tens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have to get rid of the 7. Now I know if I take 7 from a 10, I have 3 left. But let's go ahead and break it down into ones. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this would have been a lot easier, obviously, if we'd had the physical blocks, but we're doing the best that we can. So then we're just going to take away the 7. So this was the 90 that we got rid of. And now we're going to get rid of the 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now count what we have left. 300. No tens. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. Okay, so we're able to find out that there's 306 left. Now, let's do it without the base 10 blocks to kind of see how that would set up with numbers. So it says you can take apart hundreds to subtract mentally. So remember, mentally it is quickly in your head. If we take apart 800 as 700 and 100, we take apart 800 as 700 and 100, since it is easier to subtract 98 from 100. Okay, so instead of thinking it as the whole, we break it into 700 and 100, and then quickly take away the 98 from 100, knowing it's 2. Then all you have to do is add the 2 back in to, or add the 2 with what's, because you're showing what's left. So just like at the picture, how at the end we added them all up together, it's the same thing. You're just putting back together what's left. Okay? So if we pull apart as 700 and 100, 100 minus 98 is of course 2. And then, so that's what's left over when we've subtracted from the 98. So then you're going to add that 2 back in with what the 700 that you haven't used. And it becomes 702. So 800 minus 98 is 702. So really the only subtraction you really have to do is that 100. And then whatever's left, you just kind of add to what you didn't use. So take apart 401 as 301 and 100. So you're basically pulling out a 100 each time because it is easier to subtract 97 from 100. And then our helpful hint is what hundreds do you need to use. In this case, we're going to pull 100 because it's what's closest to 97. So we have 100 minus 97 is going to be 3. And so that's what's left over after we subtracted that. So we're just going to add it back into that 301 because we didn't use that. So it's what's left over. Again, think about it as what's left over. We're adding it all back up together. So 301 plus 3 is 304. So 401 minus 97 is 304. Okay, so let's try some without the guide. So if we have 300 minus 99, we're going to take apart hundreds to subtract. Well, I know 99 is really close to 100, so I know I'm going to pull out 100. Okay? Now, 300 take away 100 is going to be 200. That's what's left. Because remember, when you're breaking apart, you're not getting rid of what's still left. You're just pulling out, you're breaking it into different pieces to use. So then we have the 100 minus 99 is 1. And then you take that number you haven't used yet, so that 200 that you had left, add in what we had left over after we subtracted, and it becomes 201. So 300 minus 99 is 201. Okay, so it's similar to when we would take apart tens, just making the numbers easier to work with. Okay, so if you have 422 and you have 98, so 422 minus 98, so the 100 that's closest to that 98 is going to be 100. So we're going to pull 100 from that number, okay? Now knowing what's left, we're just using our being able to count 100 less, and we're just left with 322, okay? And so we leave that alone. So we pulled out the 100 to make that problem easier. So now we have 100 minus 98 instead of 422 minus 98. So 100 minus 98 is going to be 2. We know that really quickly. And then we're just going to add it into what we haven't used from the rest of the number. So 322 plus 2 is going to be 324. Okay, so 422 minus 98 is 324. Okay. So in exercise 2, why is 2 added back in? Well, the 2 is added back in because it's what's left over after we've subtracted the 98. Okay, so we're only taking away 98. So if we take away 98, but we still have 2 left over, then that's still in the number, right? It's still left. It wasn't taken away. So you have to add it back into the other piece because it's all together what is left after you subtract that 98. All right, so you're going to kind of practice doing this, okay? So with the 99, 98, 97, 99, 98, 97, 99, 100 is going to be your closest one. So you're always going to be pulling out 100, okay? So thinking about what's left over after you pull out that 100 is really going to help you, okay? Now I know this is a trickier subject, so I'm going to do a problem with you here, but it's supposed to be pretty kind of easy to do in your head. Easy, but designed to be more mentally easy. So in this problem, we have Eli counts 335 sunflower seeds. He places 98 of the seeds in a bowl. How many seeds are left? Okay, so we have 335 minus 98. All right. Now I know there's not like a lot of space. Let me move. Actually, over here. So we have 335 minus 98. Okay, I'm going to break this into 100 because 98 is close to 100. And 100 less than 335 is 235. Okay, so then I have 100 minus 98 is 2. I could do that in my head and see it's 2. And I'm just going to add that 2 back in with that 235. So I'll get 237. So 335 minus 98 is 237. So that's how many sunflower seeds I have left. Okay? So think about it in similar ways to when we would break apart tens, and just know you're always pulling out 100 in this case. Okay, so you're always pulling out 100. So use that. Know what's 100 less. Take away what you're subtracting and add in what you have left. Draw pictures if you need to help you. We will be working on this lesson tomorrow as well, so we'll just see where everyone is at the end of today. So do those independent practice pages, and then do your homework pages as well. Same exact format, where you're always subtracting something from the 90s, and test practice as well. All right, friends, don't stress about it. Do your best and have a great rest of your day.